and welcome to Delectable Flavors. In today's video, I'll be teaching you how to make eggless, moist, chocolate crinkle cookies. Now for this recipe, you will need 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 1/2 cups of granulated sugar, 1 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, 1 cup of unsweetened applesauce, 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, you can also use canola oil, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and icing sugar. Now the icing sugar will vary for how much you like to coat your crinkle cookies in, and you should use roughly 1/2 cup to 1 cup, but make sure not to add too much and let the rest be waste, because after using it, there might be dough sticking on the icing sugar and it might be hard to reuse. So what we're first going to do is mix our sugar, applesauce, and vegetable oil together. And I'm going to use a spatula just to get all the essence out of this bowl. Now that my bowl is nice and clean, I'm going to add my vegetable oil. Now that I've added those 2 ingredients, I'm going to set aside my spatula, get my sift. I've already pre-sifted my all-purpose flour, but I have not sifted these ingredients yet, so I'm going to quickly sift in my sugar. And these lumps you do not need. If you just push on them, your sugar will be granulated again. Now what I'm going to do is put my sieve back in my flour, and now I'm going to give this all a good whisk. You can mix faster when the mixture is coming all together. You can totally do this step using a stand mixer or an electric hand mixer, but I think using a hand whisk works just as fine. Now that I have a beautiful consistency, I'm going to add my vanilla extract. And give it all a good mix. I want to keep mixing until I have a non-lumpy consistency. I see just a few lumps here and there, so I'm just going to give it another whisk for about 1 more minute. Now that I have that all mixed, I'm going to add all my dry ingredients, and I'm going to sift them into my all-purpose flour. I'll start with the smaller ingredients, which are my salt and my baking powder, and I'll give this a good sieve. Now that I have that all sieved, I'm going to add my cocoa powder. And if you have any cocoa powder remaining, just scrape it with your spatula. Set that bowl aside and give this another good sieve. And now I'm going to just get rid of any lumps by pressing on them. Now I'm going to set my sieve aside, and I'm going to take my whisk from my wet mixture and give my dry mixture a good mix until I see that it's looking similar to one color, which is going to be like a light brown. I'm just doing this to ensure that all the ingredients are well incorporated. You can set aside your icing sugar, as you do not need that in this step. But make sure to keep your icing sugar as you will need it later. So now what I'm going to do is add my wet mixture into my dry bowl in pieces. And I'm going to mix slowly until I feel like I have enough control and start to whisk faster. Using my spatula, I'm going to scrape all of the liquid into my bowl. And I'm also going to scrape any excess on my spatula onto the bowl. Now I'm going to give this a good whisk. When you're making this, you should get a consistency similar to a brownie batter. Now I'm just going to scrape the sides and the bottom of the bowl using a spatula. So you can see any flour hiding at the bottom of the bowl, and just scrape it into the mixture. So I've just fully mixed my batter, and now I'm going to let this chill in the fridge for about 2 to 4 hours. I'm going to do it for 2 hours, but if you have more time on your hands, the more is better because it's easier to roll without sticking on your hands. But keep in mind that before you put it in the fridge, you need to get some plastic wrap and just put it on top of your batter before putting it in the fridge. So I've just chilled my dough, and now using an ice cream scooper, I'm going to scoop some balls out of the dough and then roll it into a ball shape. And when I have a ball shape, I'm going to put it in the icing sugar and coat it. The more icing sugar you add onto the ball of your dough, the more crinkles your cookie will get. So I'm just going to put it right here and let it sit and move on to my next one. My crinkle cookies are now ready to put in the oven, and these are going to go in the oven for 350 degrees for roughly 8 to 10 minutes. But make sure you check on your cookies at the 8-minute mark, as every oven is different. But if they're not ready, let them go for another 2 minutes and check on them again. So I've left my beautiful crinkle cookies to cool on this cooling rack, and now I'll just pick out 4 to show you what they look like in a closer view. They should come off easily. If not, just try to put a little bit of pressure and they should come off. And last one. I'm going to put it all sideways a little bit. I'm going to maneuver them with my hands. So these are our beautiful crinkle chocolate cookies, and you can use these in any way you like. You can use them to decorate some cakes, or you can use them as a sweet treat to eat, but make sure that you eat it right away as it's best served fresh. If you did like this recipe, please give us a big thumbs up, and do not forget to subscribe to our channel for a new recipe every week. Till the next recipe, bye-bye!